of Aussie kickboxing in his corner, Rick Kulu, as Kim Loudon gets set to take on the white sniper, Chris Johnson.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, ladies and gentlemen, Chris Johnson!
And here he comes, arguably the busiest fighter in the world. The white sniper, Chris Johnson, he only fought last weekend in Ankara, Turkey, on Tarek Solak's A1 World Cup. And a week later, here he is in Penrith, Sydney.
He's had 18 fights, 13 victories, 5 losses, 7 KOs. Trained by Rick Kulu. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the anarchist, Kim Loudon.
It's a different one, Hammer, the anarchist.
The anarchist,
and
Chris
he's opponent across
Kim
the ring,
Loudon,
fighting out the blue corners, have 45 fights, 38 victories, 7 losses, 6 KOs. He is the white sniper. Fights out of Jabout, trained by Jason Lappin, Chris Johnson.
Chris Johnson, who calls himself the white sniper for 2 reasons. The first one is that he models himself on his favourite fighter, the black sniper, Mike McDonald of K1 fame. Except, of course, Chris is not black, he's white. And the second reason is that he formerly trained in the New Zealand Army as an army sniper.
Release. Understood? No grab. I don't
Just
want
looking
no
at
grab,
both men's highest achievements off their stat sheets.
Catch. You can catch him.
Chris Johnson, the white sniper, his highest achievement is achieving a degree in teaching, so he's in fact a teacher.
He's a phys ed teacher, Hammer.
Phys ed, professional teacher.
Those poor students that get worked pretty hard in the schoolyard by Chris Johnson.
And Kim Loudon's highest achievement, stitching my own face together.
He went Rambo style, Hammer. He cortisoned his own wound by pouring gunpowder into it.
Well, there you go. There's some very different highest achievements. But Loudon is a very exciting prospect and trained by the living legend Rick Kulu, who also himself was a great fighter in the day, I can tell you that. Battled with some of the greats, did Rick Kulu.
Atokawa, remember that, Hammer? The first Sydney show you and I ever attended back in 1993. Yep. Battle of the Champions.
Yeah, he may have mixed it up with the great Tosca Petridis at one point as well.
Back in the day. Rick Kulu.
Some great battles.
When he had the big afro, Hammer. It was a battle between Rick Kulu and Alex Tui for Australia's biggest kickboxing afro.
Oh, beautiful
nice
push kick from Loudon.
Kim Loudon.
And they were saying at the weigh-in that Loudon, as soon as he stepped off the scales, just started eating like a human, like a machine.
They say he went straight to the pastry cupboard, Hammer. It was pastry straight away for Kim Loudon.
I reckon he's probably put on at least 3 or 4 kilos from weigh-in time. And he's probably up around the mid-80s now.
Well, just having a talk to Sniper out the back earlier on. Sniper sitting around 80 kilos, and he figures that Loudon tonight is probably around 86 kilos, Hammer. So a huge weight differential going the way of Kim Loudon.
Well, it just depends on how hard he had to make the weight, Loudon. Because if he had to really struggle to get down to that 81, well, it's very hard to replenish. But if he's only had to lose a couple and then he's just gone bang and bulked straight up again, he'll be feeling charged and full of energy.
It was always the old trick of Shane Chopper Chapman, Hammer. He'd come to the weigh-in looking like Skeletor, and then he'd eat up, and an amazing ability just to stack weight on his frame almost instantly did Shane Chapman, and would always come in looking so much bigger than his opponents.
Exactly. This fight, again, under modified Thai rules.
Well, technically this one under K1 rules.
Okay.
So but let's not get confused. At the moment, these guys are executing modified Thai. Under strict K1 rules, you'd only be allowed to knee once and then release. And there you can see 2 knees, 3 knees in a row from Kim Loudon, which would not be permitted under strict K1 rules. So we will call this modified Thai.
When they say release, though, does that mean completely release and break?
Completely release and break.
Or does it mean release and then grapple up again and knee?
Completely release and break. One knee only.
Surely that's the job of the centre referee to spread the fighters after the knee exchange.
Exactly, and Charlie Lu Fei, as this one has been touted, K1 rules should be stepping in there. And this may be frustrating Chris Johnson, because I was speaking to Chris earlier on, Hammer, and he did say it was a K1 rules fight. And Chris has fought K1 rules before.
He's not really comfortable fighting with any sort of grapple or knee, though, Johnson. and especially against the fighter with height and reach advantage like Loudon is seeming to have.
Well, Kim Loudon is just having his way with Chris Johnson here in the first round. Johnson taking more blows than a box of Kleenex, and look that one away for Kim Loudon out of the red corner. You've got to ask yourself, Hammer, what sort of toll it takes on Chris Johnson fighting so frequently this year between Turkey and Australia. As I said, he fought only a week ago in Ankara.
Well, it's, you know, the travel, the time differences, you know, it's a big effort as he's wearing some solid knees to the jawline, Johnson. But probably
Hammer, different if you're fighting in Thailand. It's a shorter trip. But Turkey, you're talking about a 23, 24-hour trip. You're crossing the date line, a whole different time zone.
You'd have to be shadow sparring in the aisle of the plane to keep the training up. But yeah, no, probably not something that would be recommended. But he's the white sniper. He does the crazy stuff, that's for sure.
I'm just waiting to see if he'll unleash the crazy technique, Hammer, the rolling heel somersault. Don't forget, folks, join our official mailing list, foxkickboxing@gmail.com, and keep up to date. We'll also inform you as to how you can watch the K1 Grand Prix live on television on December 8th. Front kick from Loudon, pops out the jab, all tied up again, and the loof keeps it nice and clean. Spinning back fist from Johnson, and Loudon just throws him down. Technique you don't see a lot of anymore. One of the most spectacular techniques in the kickboxing repertoire, Hammer, the spinning back fist.
It's just got to be that a technique that calls for perfect timing. Oh, nice hand combo from Johnson, but Loudon just locks on and goes to work with those devastating knees. Chops out the supporting leg.
Just tenderising the leg quadriceps here of Chris Johnson. Belly button through the back, nice front kick to the midsection it was from Loudon.
He needs not to be in front of Loudon Johnson. He needs to be using the lateral footwork a lot more. There it goes.
There it is, the Nadia Comaneci technique, the rolling somersault.
Always a crowd pleaser is this white sniper.
Hardly ever works, Hammer, but it looks good.
That looks good, and props to him for trying it.
Oh, that uppercut went so high, St. Peter knocked it back. Kim Loudon just shrugs him off, steps forward again. Right hand from Sniper, but he just doesn't have the mustard behind it to phase Kim Loudon. Is travelling, is over-fighting, taking its toll on Chris Johnson here tonight, or is he just being outskilled by a much heavier opponent?
Well, Sniper needs to be not in front of Loudon because he's just getting bombed when he's standing in front, and chopped down yet again is Johnson. But skipping off on angles might be the way for him to go.
Almost falling through the ropes, Chris Chrysopolides style there from Chris Johnson. High right round kick, lunges out with the left-handers. Johnson outside thigh kick, and again Loudon just banging away that lead leg of Johnson. Has taken enormous punishment, and you've got to wonder that if Loudon kept going to work on that lead thigh, how much more Johnson could take.
Loudon just keeping the pressure on. He's doing it nicely. He's got good use of the push kick. It's an old school technique, but it works well. Locks down on the knee and overlaps the hands nicely. Loof calling now. He's starting to work the, I suppose, the official ruling more, calling for the release.
Outside thigh kick again. Sniper, left hook to the head, rip to the body, end of the round, but lock it away again for Kim Loudon. All one-way traffic here at the moment.
If you want to be a fighter anymore? Tell me you want to be a fighter. Well, go out there and fight, mate. This is what you do for a living, okay? Don't play with him.
Seconds out.
Once again, the rolling kick from Johnson, and he tries the high-risk technique. He tries the spectacular stuff, does the white sniper, and you've got to give it up for him for doing that. But against a very nuggety and tough Kim Loudon from Rikulu's stable, it's a hard day at the office for Chris Johnson.
And Kim Loudon opens up like a house on fire here in the third round. Turns him around a high left round kick. High knee from Loudon, looking for the schnoggin knocker. Outside thigh kick from Loudon. He is all over him like pimples on a teenager as Kim Loudon early in this round. Jason Lappin in the corner just trying to psych up Chris Johnson. saying you're a fighter, son. Get in there and fight. It's what you do for a living. And at the moment, not even Jabout's words can rally on Chris Johnson. Overhand right came close, but again, didn't have the power behind it.
He's landed some good shots though, Johnson, but they're not phasing Loudon at all, and that's got to be testament to the toughness of Kim Loudon, who puts his ambition down as being a comic book artist.
A comic book
What he wants to be, a comic book artist, Kim Loudon. Sniper, his ambition is to fight in Japan, so there's some very different ambitions there.
Stitches his own face and he sketches comics, Hammer. I love it.
There's a real character of the sport, is Loudon. I predict we'll see a lot more of him. And they're putting in a very tough effort.
The anarchist. Very good name. High knee there from Loudon, just tucking it under the jaw. Chris Johnson has been hurt here. Knee to the elbow, one to the jawline again, looking for the good night Irene now is Kim Loudon.
Lining up that right hand, you can just see him propping back and got the right hand cocked and ready to go. Is Loudon.
Once again, Chris Johnson licks the leather. The referee called it off here. As Lu Fei said, it's all over.
Well, Charlie Lu Fei.
Wow. Lu Fei steps in, Hammer, and says no mas. And that's going to be a TKO victory for Kim Loudon.
Well, Charlie Lu Fei, the welfare of the fighter is paramount, and perhaps a good call from Lu Fei after Johnson took a lot of punishment, absorbed a lot of punishment from the rampaging Kim Loudon. Just absolutely unloaded, uppercuts, all sorts of angles, all sorts of shots, and Lu Fei concerned for the welfare of the traveller, Chris Johnson.
140 into the third and final round. Our winner, red corner.
A very impressive victory from Kim Loudon, the 14th win in his 19th fight. And folks, stay with us because coming up after the break,